Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Turn Right Machine Works. My name is Keith, and we're in here assembling the Fenner pop-away bypass switch. I'm going to bring you in a little closer and we're going to get to look at this, and I'm going to show you how things evolved. We had the bypass switch that I put on the machine not too long ago, and we put it to the test, and we've been testing it ever since we put it on there, and it's perfectly running fine. I say we this time, John O'Loughlin is probably the greatest, or the greatest reason that I'm able to walk the talk on this bypass switch right here. He got behind me, and he actually pushed me into this. He pushed me with, just hands on, get it done. Here you go. How's this? Making up. Yeah, I got to bring you in early, closer, and look at this here. This is the first. He actually took a piece of a board. I'm going to bring you in here closer so that we can talk about this. What I have been doing all day, or not all day, but during the day here, is taking the old leads, because with the bypass switch now it's a complete plug and play attachment for the PlasmaCAM. And so the one lead that runs from the controller to the stop arc switch on the pop-away assembly is exactly the same cord, but I had to put the male end on it, and so I've been changing out the females to the male end. Okay, and then the other cord will eventually, it's the same length, it'll eventually be made up and be a cord of the same. Now, after doing that, I've got the kits all out because I'm getting ready to interchange the parts and have them ready to ship out again. And so let me bring you in a little closer, and we'll get a good look at what we're actually putting in the little box. Okay, here's that little, I'm gonna flip it over here so you can see this. Okay, and this is I'm not sure what the circuit board material, but I don't know if they make it like Bakelite or something, some kind of light material, whatever. I've machined some things that are similar to this, but he went ahead and he roughed out a shape here, and he created all of his ports and everything else, and soldered all the leads to dummy up as a circuit board, and mounted up the two jacks here, added a switch in here. Okay, and he printed out a paper and put it on this side here, which is pretty cool, because then you can drill through your ports, your layout, and everything else right on your paper, probably glued to this, spray glue it or something. I don't know exactly what, but he even labeled everything out. It's really cool. All right, so what I went ahead and I pulled this back apart because he sent it to me, and we put it in, we tested it and everything else, but I had to order the little screws, 2mm by whatever it is, or 9 by 2, something like that, little screws. So they had to come over on the slow boat to China or whatever. I have a pretty good supply of them now, and anyway, they made it over here, and those screws actually go in and they hold those plugs so that those plugs are bolted to the circuit board, and you don't just push them in or break them off. And this is kind of like the finishing touches here. This is kind of like a museum piece now, because this actually shows the process of how the pop-aways come about. All right, and then John also, he cut out the very first box here, and anyhow, this This lead goes in this section right here. Let me bring you out just a little bit so you can actually see how this goes in here. Okay. Not that you're going to be assembling them, but it just pops right down in there, just like that. Okay. And that jack is accessible, and the one lead here. This is the lead. This lead right here comes out and goes to the controller. Okay. This one comes. The bottom one here comes from the power supply, and this one here takes off and goes to the pop-away torch for the stop arc switch. Okay. Now I'm just assembling this back in here, because after I do this, then I'm going to show you. I remember that this is the hard one to get to. There we go. Just because it has that wire right there. Okay, so those 4 screws mounted in there, and you know, it is really nice and neat that, of course, this doesn't have a tie on it, which the new ones, the actual ones that are being made up and procured, and we're putting together, and we're going to be assembling in with the pop-aways, all have a cable anchor in there. So that cable won't be able to be pulled out. Not that there's any force on there, it's just kind of like if it happened to get snagged on something, or if you walk by your machine and you snag it, the wire's not going to come out and attach itself to anything. Okay, so we received this, and we tested this one out, and everything started from there. Now we have a design of a circuit board switch and all the components exactly like we want in reality. So this is the model of what our switches actually are going to be. Okay, so what I'm doing now is I've already got one assembled, and I'm getting ready to put the cover on it, but I thought before I got all these made up and sealed up to actually show you the whole unit. So John sent me up the 6. He actually put these 6 together, and I have materials to put future ones together in the spring here. But for right now, we got 6 units made up, and we're going to be assembling those and having 6 kits available. That's what this whole thing is all about before I get ready for my surgery here, and I have them ready to go out. So anyway, you can see we even got, you know, he asked what we wanted. It doesn't need to say made in USA, but you know, maybe in the future I'll also add made in USA or assembled in the USA. Hey, I ordered these screws from China and a couple other things there, so really the whole thing is not made in the USA, but you know, this is under my supervision and my watch, so to speak. Right? But it is assembled right here in the United States, and we're going to use it here, and our design and everything else is all into this. And of course, like I said, if it wasn't for John, you wouldn't be looking at these today, that's for sure. All right. Okay, and there's the back of the board. Okay, and after he made up this leads, and actually right there's 2 holes that go through there, and they're like silver ringed or whatever you want to, solder ringed, like grommets, and that zip tie goes through there and anchors that down, so that's not going to pull there. So those are stout, and then we're putting the screws. We're doing the same thing. We're putting the screws into this, getting ready to put this one together and put it in a box. Now I ordered all the boxes, and then he supplied me a drawing, and I did all the machining. I did all the machining on these ports. You have the one there with your cable on it, the switch opening, and the one that takes off and goes to the arc switch or the pop-away switch itself. And anyway, I machined these in on the bridge port, did just a little simple setup, and here's a view of doing that work. Alright, we're drilling the switch hole, which goes in this face here, and we're going through each one of these. Oh, we forgot to turn them over. We're turning them upright when we're done, or backside up. And this is the first job. We're actually using Colin Chapet's quick stop or mill stop. It is a beautiful piece. We even tightened it up and then we wiped it down with a rag so we could enjoy it while we were knocking out these pieces here. It is super easy to adjust and put in position, and I'm sure everybody has seen the ones that are out there being used, and also Colin's demonstrations he's done on his own site. All right, these switches here, we're knocking out. We're actually going to build 6 units right now, and we have 10 boxes, so we're kind of going through. So we're going to have a couple extra boxes so that we can you know, get on to making more bypass switches after we get done recovering from our surgery. But we're trying to get out at least 6 before then. So anyway, let me get back to it. And this is just a 5/16 end mill. This is a 5/16 hole we're trying to put in here, and we just want a really nice clean hole. There's no burrs or nothing else in there, so just a 2-flute high-speed end mill puts in a really nice clean hole. The only effort in this job is actually setting up the very first one and making sure that you're in center. Okay, we have to stop it. If you get one of the flats stuck to the bottom, it wants to spin on there. Just like if you're bottoming out a drill and you got a remainder or the punch out part of a drill going through on the bottom of a box tube. It doesn't want to really cut into the second wall of the box tube until you knock that off. Okay, we're going to go ahead and set up on our next hole. Okay, we went and found a brand new 2-flute end mill in our collection there. It's a little bit of a long reach, but it doesn't really matter. We're going to bring it on down here. We're going to engage our feed as hand wheel feed again. We sped this back up because the end mill can cut faster, and we just hope that it'll go gingerly enough and it won't grab and shatter this thing. That is a little scary. Almost rather have like a hole saw, but it pokes through there. Now that's 625, and we were told by the drawing that it actually needs to be 670. And does that allow for a little bit of tolerance for the plug? We're going to check out the plug that goes into here, and we're going to see how it fits in that 5/8 and see if we can get by with the 5/8. Okay, our sample box here has got one of the plugs on here, and it fits right in there like that, and it has a little bit of clearance all the way around. Okay, and this rubber does go inside that diameter. And this is pretty tight. If it was exact on there, it would fit in there. So we should have just a tiny bit of clearance on that. Okay, we flipped the box over because both end holes are exactly the same size and same location. So we got a hole on each side like that. pilot hole, I should say. Okay, after drilling and being successful, I guess, because we didn't break it, but we did the here's 2 ends with the 5/8 here, and this is so high above this that it lets it flex around. I'm thinking about just putting a piece of 3" in here, 3" high, 1" block here, but it's just all it is to come up to this height to give it a little bit more rigid. This has the back over here. The other way would be go ahead and put the enclosure together so it was a complete box. That might make it more sound. Okay, so we got that one done there. Let's just see how these, and of course I want the hole to be in the same location, so you just gingerly tighten it up just like that. And we'll do the same thing. We're just coming down with the hand so that it doesn't suck or grab. Oh, much nicer. I mean, at least it's more sound and quiet, and it feels. Okay, we'll come down this other side here. Bring it on down. Crank it. Alright, we're going to go through and get the rest of these done, and I think what we're going to do is we're going to set up the small boring head with a single point tool that's going to take out just maybe 20 thousandths per side, so that we get out to from that 625 out to what they want, a 670, somewhere around in there for clearance. Sounds crunchy, but it sure gives a clean hole. Okay, I'm gonna bring you in. We got the boring head set up here, and we're gonna run it that fast. So let me bring you in close here. We've already dialed it in to where we think it's about 20 thousandths from where it's at right now. We're gonna take a cut, and then we will measure it and see where we're at. Alright, that was pretty painless. And we're at about 665. Alright, 670. That's about where that plug was at. Alright, let me see. Okay, you're in position there. Okay. Yeah. That looks pretty comparable. Let's see. Okay, it's this side right here, and we're holding that right down on there. That looks good. See, he's a little bit low with this one here. There's a little bit of room for air on these plugs because it's going to be all soldered in here. Okay, this is really working pretty well. It does roll somewhat of a slight little burr on the inside, but we found that just bringing her up and down a little bit right at that opening there makes it so it's not too manageable, and we'll take a quick burr and get that out of there. Okay, we're going to finish knocking out the rest of these. Okay, we're getting ready to put a little slot in on the side, and it's so that this cable here can come in and out So when we get ready to assemble this in there, we put this lead through the opening there, and that circuit board flips right down in there and mounts inside. Now this is your port for your lead coming from your power supply. This goes to the plasma controller at the table, and this port here goes to the pop-away torch. And then you have your flip switch right here for auto and bypass. Okay, so what we're doing is we're getting ready to do this slot in there, and the box itself is in this position right now with the switch facing out this way here, and so we're just kind of holding it up here, making sure that we're not messing up. All right, let's zoom you in. All right, we're just bringing this down. We're locked in here. From that center of the radius is out 530. So we set that at 0 now. We never did set it. All right, we'll come out here 530. We left this here because we weren't sure how this was going to act. It should be pretty easy to take that. Looks like it's pretty far out there. Okay, there is 530 right there. All right. We get ready. Put the next one in here. Okay, we'll go ahead and whip through these. Okay, you know, the first couple here we had a little bit of the burr and stuff kind of hanging on it because we were babying it and going in there. We're learning that if you just go not haul butt through it, but if you're at least a little bit aggressive or at least firm with your feed, it cuts pretty good without leaving a burr or anything else in play here. So let me give you an example here. We're down, all right, and then just kind of like just hand cranking it, just, you know, right to it, and then on out. And this is a crisp, clean cut there. Okay, so we're going ahead and we're mounting these little screws in here. You know, I was never an electronic engineer. My dad was, but I'm the farthest thing from it. But I am enjoying playing with some of this new stuff, to me anyway, and getting help along the way, and playing with it and expanding my experience or my knowledge in all the other avenues right here. Just really, it's fun stuff. All right. Now, not too bad. You get the little switch stuck out there, and it just like a glove. Cool. All right, now I have the little screws here somewhere. All right, we found them. They're in the cover with the bag with the covers, and of course this has got the 4 screws that bolt down the circuit board, and then the 4 in the top cover. I already pre-assembled one, and this cover here that I was looking at thinking I had the screws for it, those screws were already put in that one there. So I'll go ahead and undo our little bag here, and here we go. And I'm going to do that hard one, which is right under that wire right there. Yeah, it's not too hard. Alright, so pretty much simple to assemble those, but we were waiting for those screws that had to go in the bottom side, because we don't want those plugs have got to be strong to handle the pushing in and out. You know, that in and out pressure, we wanted those switches mounted down good to that circuit board, and that's what those 2 screws on the back side go in for. So there's no mystery inside this thing. I've shown you everything that there is, and I'll give you a couple close photos of the circuit board on both sides, and then we'll get into just giving a short explanation on how it mounts to the machine and in operation, and I'm going to start putting these kits together. Okay, on the back side of all of these, I put a layer, 2 strips right down the back here. I just happen to have 1 inch wide. It fits right in here. There's one little casting that actually comes on in this little corner right here, so I got to do an angle cut, and that angle cut's just kind of up there like that. It doesn't matter. This is going to be stuck straight against the wall like that. This is 3M high heat, high bond, double back tape. It sticks pretty darn good. This is what holds my 1/8 inch aluminum Turn Right Machine Works metal signs on my truck for the last I don't know how long has it been since I've done those. You guys saw the video doing those, and that's what I used to put that on, and so it's good enough to hold this switch in place. I haven't had to, I'm not pulling my temporary one off of there for right now. I'd rather see these finished product. I'd rather see these go out to new owners of the Pop-Away torch, and I'm going to be, as soon as I get well enough and I'm back on, I have more circuit boards. I'm going to start putting them together myself, and I'm going to be giving away this attachment to everybody that's already purchased a Pop-Away torch. Alright, so anyway, let's get on with a little demonstration of how it's going to plug in. Alright, I'm getting ready. I'm packing up a Pop-Away torch to send out now, because while I was so close to getting this all set up, I've been emailing and also a phone conversation with Erwin DeWitt there in Wichita Falls, Texas, and he's procured a PlasmaCAM, and he called me and we were talking about some other things, and then he was thinking about, and as he's running, the safety factor and the ease of popping it away and all the benefits that the pop away actually self-explains itself. And I said, okay, and I said, I'm going to be lowering the price, and I'm going to be adding in this feature. And he went ahead and he jumped right on there, and he procured a pop away before I made any changes there, and he paid the regular $6.99 price there. And I just today I went ahead and refunded him $100 off of there, because my word is what it is. And I told him I was going to do that, and I told him it was going to be a couple days till I actually had this, and I'm packing up his box here, and actually I'm going to be sending his box off tomorrow, and it's a 2-day mailing, I believe, with Priority Express, and he should have it to play with it this weekend. Now, this is all coming together so fast that I haven't had a chance to make a video on the new accessories or whatever. So right now I'm going to go ahead and show you, Erwin, how just the quick connection of your leads, and that's basically the only difference is we eliminated one wiring, and all the wiring that has to go to the power supply, and all you have is the one lead that you're going to run over to the switch down to your controller. And so let's go on over to the controller, and I'm going to simulate that lead dropping down and the changing of the wires, and it'll be the only thing that you have to do. And it's a plug and play system now. And all right, so let's come on over to the controller here and let's take a look at that. All right, Erwin, I'm going to give you a demo on how to hook up your wiring on the pop away, because this is the only thing that's left out in the instructions that you'll get in there. I simulated the dropping down of the lead from the pop away torch, and that lead comes down through your tube. It's put in, that lead is fully put in just like it is in the instructions of the pop away itself. And so that line is hanging down here, and you take your power supply. This is the one that goes to your plasma cutting machine, your power supply. That goes into the bottom, and okay, that fits in there like that. And both of these leads here they can come in on the back side there. The lead that you have, I'm going to bring this in front so you can actually see. You can tuck them into where they're neat. But the lead that comes down out of the bottom of the bypass box plugs in to the controller. And the port on the top is actually the lead that comes from your torch. And sometimes the outer rubber skirt there is real close to the edge there. All right. So then you can peel off your double back sticky. This is 3M high heat, high bond tape. It works pretty good. This is still on here, and I mean, I haven't had any problem with it. Then you can stick it anywhere along the side of your post that you got right there. All right, of course, with it closer here, your leads will be able to come over here close, just like I got this one here. And that's my suggested place. You can put it wherever you want. If you want to run it down here, closer, whatever. This is up here. Easy access, and I like that area. All right, so that's the only difference between the old hookup and the new plug and play hookup for the pop away torch. And it's as simple as that. You don't have to get into the box or do any connections on the power supply. All right, Erwin, I hope that helps you out, and we're going to get your kit sent out to you. And any questions, you call me. I've got the entire pop away kit laid out here in front of you, and of course I don't have all the parts all spread out that actually are the receiver. That this part here actually bolts into the carriage, and the micro switch is already mounted in the back. These are just loose, but the hardwares are all in here. These are the two spring plungers that come in and adjust and actually seat on each side of your torch holder. And this receiver, when I know exactly what kind of torch you're going to be using, either the Duramax, this is the Duramax here, or the T45V, or the SL60. The SL60, I haven't made any. I have the jig all made up to make them, just like I have on my torch, but I have not put it together yet, and I don't have any available to send out right at this moment, but I can have them when I'm back in operation in the spring. I can have them made within a week and sent out. Okay, so you got the CD. The CD still shows the old wiring and everything else, and I don't have time to change that around, but it gives the mounting and everything else of the hardware itself. This is the new cable carrier position, because you're going to want the stinger lead or your torch lead to hang out in another fashion. And that's still got the rubber grommet right here, and that sits in there fine. This is the new bypass switch right here, and this takes and rids of all your needs to open up the power supply and put in another lead, and everything is plugs in there, and you don't even need the bypass. You don't need the bypass plug for the PlasmaCAM that they supply you for the controller. You can set that in your storage cabinet because you won't need it anymore. This takes care of everything. This lets you go into the bypass mode without putting your receiver back into the carriage, or no bypasses at all. You flip in the switch, and after you take off your Velcro, that is one thing that's missing from here. I do include a Velcro strip that goes around your torch as well. All right, and everybody goes, hey, why Velcro? You know what? I haven't. I have some scars on mine, but I've been using it for 4 years, and the thing still grabs that torch just fine and holds the torch into the glove part, you know, really well. So I have no issues with that myself, or any reports from issues. There's two Velcro wraps that actually let you tie your leads up to the post that your controller's mounted on, and this is the lead that goes from the pop away over to the bypass, which is mounted right by the controller. So the package is a real nice, simple package, and it's plug and play. All right, I think that's pretty well. We're coming down to the wire here. I got to get some of these boxed up here so they're ready to ship while I'm out on recovery here. Erwin, your box is getting packed up, and it will be in the mail tomorrow. I just have a little bit of packing, and it'll be a box inside a box. I ship these in the flat rate boxes, and this is an inner box so that it gives that double protection for your pop-away torch assembly to make it all the way to you without any incidences. All right, until next time, get her done.